Hello, this is Sifu Matthias. Welcome to the Mind Body Warrior YouTube channel. And today I want to go a little bit deeper into horse stance and see how can we improve our horse stance for Kung Fu. Hey, and welcome. So, expect more episodes. I was busy. We were preparing for competitions and other stuff. We had some exhibitions, so sometimes I'm a little bit slow. But I'm going to try to pick it up in the next few weeks and months. Watch out for more episodes. Now, let's dig into something that's the most basic stance in Kung Fu, that is used in many other styles, sometimes even without noticing, and has some variations in, for example, fitness-related or exercise-related things like yoga. So, right? The horse stance, Ma Bu. Okay? Good. Horse stance. In our style, we have actually 3 ways to get into a horse stance. So what we're going to do is we're going to look into how to do a proper horse stance. And again, this is like from my lineage and style. There's other styles, lineages, whatsoever, and they all look slightly different. But there's like a few important points that will be the same in all the styles, because at the end of the day it's about rooting and staying really tight and compact in your horse stance. Yeah, as I started, we have 3 ways to go into our horse stance. The first one is kind of the easiest one to understand how far I am away from my body, like from my how much distance is between my legs. And for that, if you check my feet, it's very simple. I do a few steps. 1 points out, 2 heels out, 3 toes out, and then 4 I align my feet and have them parallel pointing forward, and that's where I go down. Right? That's number 1. That's a good way to get the right distance. In our lineage, in our style, we try to have like 3 feet in between both feet. Okay? You can just try this, right? Measuring, tuk, 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 then you're there. Number 2 is a little bit more official. We have our hands here. We step to the right and we kick our leg, and then we end up in horse stance. And number 3 is like just jumping into a horse stance. So we go here, 1 and 2, right? The last one is a little bit more agile, but it's also like more fun. So this is the one I normally use for kids, okay? So you can choose whichever you want to do. Now, what should I look at when I'm in a horse stance? Again, the distance between the feet is important. The knees should be pushing out, so it shouldn't look like this, right? Push your knees out, and then I'm always also saying like push your heels out, and that gives you like more structure. Think about like pushing the heels out. Try to avoid to be like this. I know, again, in some styles they just do this. We try to keep this. This gives you a little bit more advantage, for example, to practice power in your legs when you're fighting, for example. You can get like very stronger here. But it's also like giving you more rooting power. Okay? But we get there in a little bit. Now, number 2. A big mistake I see often from beginners is they go forward and then down. And then they look like this. And then they try to arc, right? Very bad. Not very bad. It's just a process, right? So think about sitting down backwards. Okay? Now we are low. We can have our hands forward. You can do whatever you want there. It's again different. I try to get my thigh as much parallel to the ground as I can, and then check my back. I don't arc my back. I make it round. My pelvis moving a little bit forward, right? This is really important, and I don't stretch this enough. Also with my students, when we, for example, when we fight, we don't want to stay like this. It's a really bad posture. First, I don't know why, but it also like gets people way easier out of balance when they start moving around. You're not as agile because kind of you're blocking your hips a little bit with your overarching. But it's also a risky thing because if you get kicked in the lower back, it hurts, right? So you're building kind of a shield there. It's like your protector. In Chinese martial arts, the lower back is the part of the kidneys. And the kidneys are the battery, right? For your daily activities or also for your longevity. So that's why it's important to protect them. We protect them in the way that we keep them like shielded and not overexposed. Arcing would be overexposing this. It's counterintuitive, but this is like keeping them strong and safe, okay? So that's what you want to do. Now, I'm here, I'm down. I don't lean forward. I go back and sit. At the beginning, this is really hard because it's going to push you a little bit more on your legs. But again, you can start a little bit higher and then slowly getting lower, right? And still keep the back straight. And that's actually already the best way to practice horse stance is to do horse stance. If you still feel your posture is not good enough, you can just, for example, find a wall and lean against the wall. When you do that, try to avoid, again, arcing your back. This is a good way to practice the back part. You can push your back against the wall. So you shouldn't be able to put your hands in between. Your whole body should be touching the wall, okay? And also your head. And that's how you can practice. You can get lower because it is a little bit easier. Then you can stay here. Ideally, when you do this, keep your tongue touching the roof of the mouth. Good. Why do we do this? One is ruling. Kung Fu was developed in a time where fighting was a little bit more simple, I guess. And a lot of time you had to stay on your ground in any ways, right? It's actually, I would say, a bow and arrow stance or bow stance is also for that. Often like to have to hold your spear or whatever against horses or other things, right? This helps you also to keep like rooting power, and it's really hard to get someone throwing out of a good horse stance. And at the same time, it would help you to grapple, to get someone off the ground, right? You can like lift and throw someone. So having a good horse stance is a good base for grappling, for counter grappling, right? For not getting thrown to the ground, and many other things. And that's why it's, I would argue, very much emphasized all the time. If this doesn't matter to you, like the application, I invite you to do a little exercise that's more internal, but very simple, straightforward. It's kind of, yeah, I wouldn't go as far as internal Kung Fu, but you can say that. You just go here, remember your tongue touching the roof of the mouth, and your hands facing each other, and then you go into your horse stance, and your Lao Gungs, your two gates, facing each other, and you stay there, and you meditate in your horse stance. Yeah, this can help you to generate a little bit more energy, a little bit more force. It was a good way. So two different approaches to it, right? One is fighting, one is more the internal work. Both are good. Body, mind, right? Okay, this was a quick run through horse stances. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe, like, share, and I'm happy to be back. I hope you will be back, and see you at the Quan.
Yeah.